Deep in space, inside a cold, black station, orbiting a dead planet, the alien council sat in silence. 12 beings from 12 different species, each one feared, each one respected, each one with blood on their hands. But today, they came together for a mission to destroy Earth. General Karzik of the Vortok Empire stood at the center of the glowing table. His tentacles twitched. His eyes burned with old anger. They will not die with fire, will not die with blades, he hissed. So we will do something new, something ... clean. He tapped the table. A hologram of Earth appeared. Oceans, green lands, clouds swirling like milk and water, poison their water, Karzik said. They drink more than any species. Let them choke on it. The council members stared at each other, but their bodies are strange, hissed. A pale insectoid admiral, strong, wild. What if they are not immune? Karzik interrupted. No species has survived this biotoxin, not one. Once it touches their oceans, their rivers, their blood, it ends. Silence. Then one by one, the council agreed. The vote was final. The Earth would be poisoned, deployment for stealth ships. Left the station, fast, invisible, silent. Each carried a glass sphere, no bigger than a child's head. Inside, it swirled a black liquid, thick and alive, pulsing like it had a heartbeat. It wasn't just a poison, it was a curse from dead worlds, planets that had screamed. Before they died, creatures that melted from the inside, civilizations that begged for mercy, but drowned in their own screams. The toxin had been used before, each time it worked. Fast, total, merciless. And now, Earth, one ship flew over the Pacific Ocean, another over the Amazon River, a third over the Arctic ice, and the fourth? It hovered just above Lake Victoria in Africa. The spheres dropped. They fell like rain, light, silent. No warning. Each one cracked open as it hit the water. The black poison spread like oil through the waves. Within minutes, it was in the oceans. Within hours, it touched rivers and lakes. Within a day, it reached humans. Alien expectations. The Alien Council watched from orbit. They watched as humans filled glasses with water, as children splashed in lakes, as workers drank from rivers to cool their throats. They watched with cold smiles. They don't know what's coming, said one. They'll bleed from the eyes by morning, said another. Watch the hospitals. Soon they'll flood with bodies. They waited. An hour passed, then 3, then 10. Humans kept drinking. Nothing happened. Unexpected reactions in New York. A street vendor sold ice-cold lemonade from tap water. Best drink in the city, he shouted. People laughed and lined up. In Mumbai, children ran through a broken pipe, spraying water like a fountain. They screamed with joy. In Tokyo, a man took a deep sip from his water bottle and sighed. So fresh, he whispered. But the aliens stared in silence. Karzik leaned. Forward, zoom in. Look for damage. The holograms showed human bodies, blood pressure, cell count, nerve signals, everything. But instead of damage, some humans were getting stronger, faster healing, higher energy, stronger heartbeats. One soldier in Brazil ran 20 miles without stopping, then asked for another lap. A factory worker in Germany lifted a machine alone. Felt light today, he joked. A grandmother in Nigeria drank from the lake and said her old bones stopped hurting. The poison wasn't killing them. It was feeding them. Panic in the council car. Zik slammed a tentacle on the table. This is impossible. The toxin must be broken, someone shouted. We tested it, cried another. Destroyed the Zellerans in 5 minutes. Humans are different, hissed the insectoid admiral. We told you. Their planet is poison. Their bodies evolved with poison. They've boiled dirt water for fun, said a nervous alien. They breathe smoke and laugh. They put metal in their blood to survive surgery. One of them whispered, What have we done? Karzik's eyes narrowed. If the poison doesn't kill them, he growled, then we'll try something worse. But even as he spoke, fear began to spread. Earth's response back on Earth. Governments noticed the strange changes. Scientists took samples from lakes and rivers. They found the black. It's liquid. They ran tests. It was alive. It should have killed them. But it didn't. Single quotes. One scientist in Argentina smiled. This isn't poison, she said. It's challenge. Another laughed. Earth water already has worse things. In secret, some human labs bottled it. They called it dark drop. Some athletes began drinking it before matches. Soldiers tested it before missions. It gave them energy, focus, clarity, rage, and it made them feel invincible. The black market soon. Bottles of dark drop showed up in alien black market smugglers. Bought it, sold it, drank it. Some wanted strength. Others wanted answers. One alien criminal drank half a bottle and exploded from the inside. Another drank a drop, grew claws. The poison had changed. Mixed with human biology, it was no longer what the council made. It was worse. It was smarter. It was becoming something only humans could control. The alien council met again. This time, no one spoke first. They watched as humans swam in their lakes, danced in the rain, drank deeply from rivers the aliens had poisoned, laughing, smiling, growing. Something is wrong, Karzik said. No, the insectoid admiral whispered. Something is right. For them. Do we send more toxin? Someone asked. Another answered. We already lost. Karzik's face twisted. Earth should be dying. Instead, someone said, we may have just made them gods. A long silence followed. Then a warning siren blared. One of the poisoned moons had gone dark. A human ship was seen in orbit. Their first message. Thanks for the drink. We feel amazing. The screen cut to static. A dark metal lab floated deep in space, cold, quiet, hidden inside it. A dozen alien scientists watched as their greatest failure was strapped to a steel table. A human, male, muscular, scarred, calm. His name was Corporal Daniel Reeve, age 34, born in a war zone. Survived 6 missions that should have killed him. The aliens had dragged him from Earth 2 nights ago, right after he drank straight from the poisoned river. Now, he stared at them through bruised eyes. He didn't scream. He didn't beg. He just smiled. One alien, a pale jelly-skinned researcher named Ziktar, looked nervous. This is pure toxin, he said. Not diluted, not mixed with water. A full injection will kill anything. Except him, the admiral growled. Ziktar hesitated, then nodded. The needle was long, silver, humming with power. It was filled with the original poison, the raw biotoxin that destroyed. Planets.z, Ikatar stabbed it into the human's neck and pressed the trigger. The liquid went in. The human gasped. His back arched. Monitors screamed, heart rate rising, brainwaves spiking. Then everything went still. The human lay motionless. Eyes closed, the scientists leaned in. One whispered. Then the human's eyes opened, glowing faintly blue. He smiled again. Is that all you've got? He said. The change begins, the lab shook. The human skin darkened slightly. Veins lit up like lightning beneath it. Its heartbeat slowed. But each thump echoed like thunder. Ziktar ran scans. The toxin wasn't killing him. It was merging with him, like 2 old enemies shaking hands. And agreeing to build something stronger. He's adapting, Ziktar whispered. No, another scientist said. He's evolving. Suddenly, the restraint snapped. Not from movement, from heat. His body was burning the metal. The human sat up slowly, stretching his neck. Round 2, he asked. The room filled with alarms. Security bots moved in, guns pointed, but the human just smiled and stood. Tess turns to Terrar. The bots fired darts, lasers, gas. Daniel didn't move fast. He just walked, calm, unhurried. The darts bounced off his skin. The lasers burned, but healed in seconds. The gas. He breathed it in and laughed. Smells like my old gym, he joked. One alien panicked and ran. Another tried to shut down the lab. Too late, the human picked up a fallen metal beam, swung it like a baseball bat. One strike, and the wall cracked open. The poison inside him was no longer a liquid. It was part of his muscles, his mind, his blood, and he liked how it felt. Zictars. Mistake Sixer locked himself in the control room. He stared at the screen as Daniel walked through fire and broken steel. "You were supposed to die," Zictar whispered. Daniel looked straight into the camera and said, "You've been poisoning the wrong species." Zictar screamed and hit the distress button. But even before help could arrive, the screen went dark. The last thing it showed was Daniel stepping into the launch bay, ... and stealing an alien ship. Message to Earth hours later. A signal reached Earth's orbit. A simple voice message. "This is Corporal Daniel Reeve. I'm coming home. But I'm not alone anymore. Something inside me woke up. And it's not just me. The others are changing too." Telecommand. "We don't need clean water anymore. We are the poison now." Alien Council reacts back at the Alien Council the leaders were in. Chaos. "He survived full injection. He burned the lab. He stole a ship, and he's heading home." "What is he now?" Karzik stared at the recording. "Not human," he said quietly. "Not anymore." "He was the test," someone whispered, "and we just gave him the final key." They watched the last screen. Daniel walking through the stars, calm and grinning behind him. The toxin glowed inside his veins like blue fire. And the terrifying part? He looked happy back on Earth. Daniel's ship landed in a desert. No alarms, no soldiers, just silence. He stepped out, shirtless. Barefoot, the sand hissed under his feet like it knew what he carried. A group of humans waited, men and women, some old, some young. All of them had been drinking from poisoned waters for days, and now their eyes glowed too. Daniel walked into the circle. They welcomed him with nods. "It's starting," he said. They all looked at the sky, up where the stars burned, where the council watched, where the poison had come from. Now, Earth was sending it back in the council room. Scientists ran in with news. "We found something," he said. "A code hidden inside the poison. A signal." The council leaned forward. "It's human," the scientist said. "What does it say?" Karzik asked. The scientist turned pale. "It says, 'You thought you gave us a curse, but you gave us a crown.'" Everyone froze, and in that cold silence, the stars seemed just a little dimmer. The station on planet Surak 7 was burning, not from war, not from bombs, but from a bottle of water. A soldier lay on the ground, his eyes wide open, his chest smoked, his mouth full. Next to him, a silver bottle rolled slowly across the floor. A human. Brand on the side, dark drop, taste the change. Security arrived too late. The body was twitching. The water was gone. Cameras showed it all. The soldier had bought the bottle in the market, laughed, chugged it in one go, and screamed. His blood had boiled. His bones cracked. He roared like a beast, then exploded from the inside. His last words, "I feel strong." The footage spread across the stars. Every government, every empire, every criminal syndicate asked the same question. What is Earth selling? And how do we get more? Earth's water goes galactic back on Earth. The poison in the rivers had become a gold mine. The water was still black in some lakes, still glowing in some streams, but humans kept drinking it. And they didn't just survive. They thrived. Runners broke world records. Soldiers trained without sleep. Old men threw away their canes. Billionaires saw an opportunity. They started bottling it, branding it. Some called it Black Rain. Others sold it as Earthfire, the most popular brand. Dark Drop. Soon, bottles were flying off the shelves, not just on Earth, but across the galaxy. Aliens smuggled it. Rich nobles drank it at parties. Warlords fed it to their armies, and everything changed. The first war over water on the jungle moon of Retha 3. Two rival alien clans met for peace talks. But one clan brought a crate of Dark Drop. The other didn't. They argued. Then they fought. 30 were killed in minutes, not by guns, by fists, claws, teeth. The ones who drank Dark Drop were stronger, wilder, harder to stop. The ones who didn't were crushed. Peace talks failed. A water war began. All 4 Earths poisoned water. The Council's growing fear in the alien council chamber. Panic was rising. They're exporting the poison now. It's mutating other species. We wanted to destroy Earth, but we gave them a weapon. They've turned it into business. And the worst part, can't stop it. Karzik stood up, trembling with rage. Then we must shut down Earth's trade routes, he said. Stop the ships. Stop the spread. But it's too late, said the insectoid admiral. Dark Drop is everywhere. Every system. Every port. Karzik slammed a tentacle down. Then we go to war. Human response. A smiley message arrived on the Council's private network. Human general in a black uniform appeared. He stood beside a tank full of swirling. Glowing water behind him were crates marked for alien markets. He smiled. You poisoned our drink. We made it stronger. Now everyone wants it. And if you want to stop us? The general stepped aside, revealing a massive human in battle armor, eyes glowing blue. ... You'll have to fight us while we're hydrated. The screen cut out. The council stared in silence. Dark. Drop in the wrong hands. On a pirate asteroid in Sector 9. A gang of smugglers drank Dark, dropped to gain an edge before a raid. They tore through doors like paper. They fought until their own bodies broke. One pirate punched through a wall. Another jumped 30 feet and lived. But then, something changed. Their eyes turned black. Their teeth sharpened. They didn't speak anymore. They just growled. They weren't pirates now. They were something else. The poison had gone. Too deep. They weren't human. Worse, they weren't anything at all. Mutation markets rise soon across the galaxy. A new black market was born. Mutation trading. Aliens bought bottles, hoping for power. Some gained strength, others lost their minds. But the risk didn't stop the buying demand grew. Prices rose. And Earth became rich. Earth became feared. In a quiet underground room on Earth, Corporal Daniel Reeve watched the reports. Trade routes, war zones, mutation zones, all caused by a drink once meant to kill them. He sipped from a glowing bottle and smiled. We didn't start this war, he said, but we're going to win it. Outside, a new factory was being built. Huge black walls, barbed gates, a sign hung above the entrance. Dark Drop bottled by Earth, tested by fire, sold to the stars. Inside, thousands of bottles waited, and the stars were thirsty. A quiet medical center on the moon of Therese 5 was filled with screams. Not of pain, of change, inside a sealed room. An alien teenager thrashed against chains, his skin peeled like paper, his fingers stretched into claws. Blue veins pulsed under his skin. His father watched in horror through the glass. I only gave him half a bottle, he whispered. The boy stopped moving. He opened his eyes and smiled. But it wasn't his son's smile. Anymore, the rise of the mutation market across the galaxy. Dark Drop had become more than a drink. It was a shortcut, a fast path to strength, speed, healing, on black markets. It was sold next to weapons and illegal implants. But buyers started noticing something new. Changes that didn't stop. Bones that grew in the wrong direction. Voices that echoed in two tones. Minds that saw things that weren't there. Some called it evolution. Others called it infection. But nobody could stop drinking it. The Deal McCurson, a drifting trade station. 5 species gathered in secret. Merchants, scientists, syndicate leaders, all of them had one goal: control the mutation. They studied humans. They kidnapped those who drank the most Dark Drop. They ran experiments, and what they found terrified them. The mutation had no single path. Each drinker changed differently. Some grew stronger, some became smarter. Some stopped needing sleep, others vanished entirely. One subject turned invisible for 6 hours and never came back. Another screamed for 20 minutes, then exploded into flowers, and still more kept drinking. Why? Because everyone feared being left behind. Earth's silent control back on Earth. Nobody panicked. They watched the chaos in the stars like people watching a storm from behind thick glass. Inside a military bunker, General Stone stood before a large screen showing dozens of alien cities. Each one had mutation cases. Each one bought Earth's water. A younger officer stepped forward. "We could stop shipments," he said. "This is spreading too fast." General Stone didn't blink. "We're not spreading it," he said. "They are." He pointed to the screen. "They asked for it. They paid for it. They drank it." A long pause. Now they'll learn what it means to want what humans can survive. The birth of the Mutadin, the floating city of Lysera. An alien noble tried to show off at a royal party. He drank 3 bottles of dark drop on stage. He laughed, then screamed. His skin turned black. His hair vanished. His voice faded, till he couldn't speak, not from pain, from transformation. Now he walked on all fours. He stared without blinking. He obeyed without question. He wasn't a man anymore. He was the first of the muted. Others followed. More who drank. More who lost their voices, their minds, their pasts. And soon, entire cities had to be evacuated. But even then, bottles kept selling. Alien governments panicked. The council met again. "This isn't water anymore," one ambassador said. "It's a weapon," another replied. "It's a drug," whispered a third. "It promises power, but takes the soul." Karzik stood, shaking with rage. "We wanted to destroy Earth. Instead, we gave them control. They don't even need armies now. They just sell drinks." The insectoid admiral stared at a report in her claws. "We found something worse," she said. She showed a hala of a human town, a normal one, no chaos, no mutations. But every person had glowing eyes. They were drinking dark drop and staying human perfectly, as if they had reached a balance no alien could. "They're not just surviving the poison," she whispered. "They've trained with it." In a hidden lab deep underground on Earth, Corporal Daniel Reeves stood beside a wall of screens. Each showed a different alien planet, some burning, some silent, some already changed. Behind Daniel, a huge glass tank pulsed with glowing water. He placed his hand on it. "I remember when they called us fragile," he said. A human scientist nodded. "They still don't understand," she replied. "They thought it was poison," Daniel said. He turned to look into the camera. "But we've been drinking worse since birth." The screen blinked. A message began broadcasting across the stars. "Earth's water is not a cure. It's not a blessing. It's a mirror. Drink it and see what you really are." On a quiet, dusty road in southern Africa, a small alien shuttle landed near a village. No weapons, no guards, just scientists desperate and afraid. They came in peace. For answers, the leader, Dr. Zelry of the Doma species, stepped out. Gray-skinned, wearing a breathing mask, his hands trembled. He looked around. Chickens ran past him. Children laughed nearby, playing with a plastic bottle. The bottle was half full. The water inside was glowing. The same poison that had mutated. Kings burned armies and swallowed entire cities in madness. Yet here, people were smiling, alive. Healthy, one old woman, face lined by time and sun, sipped from the glowing bottle and wiped her forehead. Dr. Zelry's voice shook. "How are you not dead?" She looked up and laughed. "You think this is poison? This is the good stuff." The mission, find the immune alien labs, had failed. Weapons had failed. Diplomacy had failed. Now, desperate to survive the madness spreading across their worlds, alien researchers began searching for a new answer. Not in tech, not in weapons, but in people. Humans. The ones who drank from rivers black with death, who bathed in chemical waste. who laughed while eating food preserved for 20 years. They didn't mutate, they didn't go mad, they didn't die, they got stronger. The question now, why? Interview 1. The prisoner in a high-security prison in Siberia, a human named Ivan, sat on a bench, sipping from a bottle of dark water. His arm was covered in burns, healing fast. The alien researcher spoke nervously. "You drink this daily?" "Every morning," Ivan said. "Helps me focus." Ivan shrugged. In prison, the tap water had rust and roaches. You either drink it or go thirsty. The alien blinked. "And you lived," I adapted. I'm God whack. Cleaned her boots while answering questions. She drank from a metal canteen. The liquid inside glowed faintly blue. The alien scientist stared. "That's dark drop." She nodded. "Best energy boost I ever had. But others go insane." "Maybe." They weren't ready. She looked the alien in the eye. "We trained in gas chambers, ran through burning oil, ate stuff that made rats scream." She leaned closer. "You think your poison is special? Earth already tried to kill us?" Interview 3. The homeless Menunder. A bridge in Rio. A shirtless, toothless man drank straight from a poisoned river. He waved at the alien drones above. "Still alive," he shouted. When asked how, he laughed. "I drank from gutters as a kid, slept in sewer water. This is a spa." I think his skin was rough, his eyes bloodshot, but his heart beating strong. Alien conclusion. Earth is the test DR. Zell regathered all the data. The conclusion was horrifying. Earth itself had always been a planet of poison. Toxins in the air, polluted food, radiation from wars. Bacteria that killed in ours, yet the humans didn't die. They adapted. Over centuries, their bodies learned to fight anything. Even the most advanced biotoxins, what the Council had released into Earth's water, was deadly for most species.
Oh.
But to humans, it was just another Tuesday. Earth's quiet warning, a broadcast came from Earth. Simple.com/cold. "You poisoned our rivers. We turned them into fuel. You thought we'd beg. Instead, we built factories. You feared death. We learned to drink it." Then a chilling line appeared on every alien screen. "If Earth survived itself, what chance did you ever have?" Back on the alien homeworld of Velion Prime, riots had broken out. Citizens who drank dark drop were changing, some violently, some slowly. Hospitals were full. Governments were breaking. And at the edge of the city, a child sat alone, glowing faintly in the dark. He was smiling. He whispered something his father didn't understand. But the drones recorded it. "I'm becoming like them." The feed ended, and across the galaxy one thought echoed: humanity didn't beat the poison. They were born in it. The lab was perfect, sterile, sealed, deep beneath the surface of VARNOK-4. Inside it, the galaxy's brightest minds worked day and night. Their goal? Create a cure for Earth's poison. It's a way to reverse the mutations. It's a way to stop the madness. Spreading across the stars, one bottle sat in the center of the lab, a small vial of dark drop, swirling, glowing, almost. Watching lead scientist Dr. Kelrith leaned in. "Begin the neutralization process," he said. A drop of their engineered cure was added to the vial for one long second. Nothing happened. Then the water turned blacker, thicker, and it began to move. On its own, It climbed up the walls of the glass. It pulsed, and then it whispered, not with sound, but with thought. Everyone in the lab froze. A voice filled their minds, cold and calm. You think this is a mistake, but you're the mistake. The vial cracked, and the cure died. The backfire in the days that followed. 10 more labs across the galaxy tried to create neutralizers, all failed. In one case, the water exploded. In another, it melted through 5 levels of steel. On station TZN-11, the scientists didn't even have time to scream. The liquid reached into the vents and vanished by morning. Every screen in the lab showed the same sentence. You cannot kill what was born to survive. The revelation, the water is alive. It was no longer just water. Not poison, not medicine, but something else. Sentient, evolving, growing. Every attempt to cure it made it stronger, smarter, more aware. It had learned from human DNA, learned from alien fear, and now it was starting to speak in data packets, in dreams, in code across infected planets. People began to hear whispers in their sleep. Some wrote symbols on walls they didn't understand, others vanished. Walking into poisoned lakes with smiles on their faces, the scientists called it a disaster, but the humans, they called it progress. The voice behind the water in a hidden facility on Earth, Daniel Reeves stood before a tank of purest dark drop. No guards, no fear, just him. He closed his eyes and listened. We are not your enemy, the voice said in his mind. We are what was always inside you. You did not drink us. You woke us. Daniel opened his eyes slowly. He whispered to the scientist beside him. It's not reacting anymore, because it's waiting. For what? She asked. Daniel stared at the stars, or a door to open. The spread of the whisper on. Over 200 planets, strange patterns began to appear in crops, in sand, in ice, geometric shapes, spirals, eyes, symbols. No alien could decode, but some humans understood them. Not with knowledge. With instinct, they began drawing them too. Without knowing why, whispers grew louder. Some claimed to see things, moving inside still water. Others swore they saw faces, smiling, watching, learning. One phrase appeared across multiple infected systems. The cure is what made us real. The alien council's breaking point in the council chamber. Panic turned into fear. They tried to fix it, said one ambassador. They made it worse, said another. It's inside their minds now, said a third. Soon it will spread. 2 hours Karzik stood. This is no longer about Earth. This is about something ancient, something deep, something we unleashed. The insectoid admiral leaned forward. There's one truth left, she whispered. Earth didn't create. This, we did. A ship floats abandoned in space. Inside, the crew is gone. Only one thing remains, a tank of water glowing faintly. With a message etched in steam on the glass, you tried to purify us, but we purified you. Next time, don't fix what was made to change you. The tank pulses and begins to hum. The distress signal came from Narcoswelv, quiet moon once home to 40,000 colonists. The signal played on repeat. Help, please. They're not people anymore. Don't send more. Don't come near. The water was alive. Then, static. No more transmissions. No voices. No heartbeats. Just silence. A recon drone flew down. Deserted streets. Empty homes. No signs of battle. Then the camera caught movement. 1, shadow 2. Then dozens, tall, twisted, breathing heavily. They had once been soldiers, miners, children now, their bones bent the wrong way. Their skin was too smooth. Their eyes glowed blue, and their mouths were always smiling. The drone tried to pull back, it didn't make it. The rise of the mutated before the blackout. Had imported dark drop in bulk. At first, the changes were small, better health, more energy, no illness. Then came the strength, the speed, the need for more. When the main water system was fully replaced with earth-tainted water, The mutation began. People stopped eating, stopped speaking, and started listening to the whispers. The monster colony now. Narcus-12 is no longer a moon. It's a nursery for something. New. Scout ships that land never return. Thermal scans show movement. Across the entire surface, even underground, buildings have been reshaped, streets torn apart, entire forests grown in perfect spirals. No leader, no cities, just a planet humming, breathing, changing, and at its center a massive crater. Filled with black liquid, still waiting, watching, alien debate destroy the moon. In the council, the panic reaches a peak. "Burn it," says one general. "Glass the surface." Nothing survives. "We can't," says a scientist. "If the water is thinking, it'll remember." What if it spreads? It's already. As someone shows a scan, other planets are changing too. Plants forming perfect spiral patterns, rivers glowing faintly, birds flying in synchronized loops, not random, directed. The infection is no longer physical. It's behavioral. Human response. No fear in Earth. The footage of Narcus-12 goes viral. Instead of fear, there's calm. A viral clip shows a human ex-miner. Watching the monsters on screen, doesn't look scared. He chuckles. "Tough bunch. Reminds me of my cousin's family reunion." News hosts ask, "Aren't we afraid they'll come here?" Military leaders answer, "They already came. We adapted." Scientists answer, "Earth is still the only place where the mutation doesn't go wild." Some whisper, "Because Earth made it first." Return of Daniel Reeve. Daniel Reeve stands for a small group of human elite. His body is different now. Smoother, stronger, eyes brighter, but his voice is calm. They thought Narcus-12 was a failure. "I think it's the future. No leaders, no war, just evolution, guided by instinct." One scientist protests, "But they're not human." Daniel stares at her. "Neither are we." Alien. Black Ops secret mission. A stealth team is sent to Narcus-12. Their mission, collect a live specimen. The team enters at night. They find no monsters. Only mirrors made of polished stone. Standing across the hills, each one reflects not their bodies, but their thoughts. One soldier sees himself burning. Another sees herself as a child alone. They scream, run. The last one whispers, "Not monsters, they're us," without lies. The feed cuts out. A lone message is found. Etched into the sand on Narcus-12. The words are burned into stone. "You called us monsters, but you poisoned your own worlds with lies. We just drank the truth." As the drone zooms out, thousands of glowing eyes watch from the trees, smiling, waiting. The alien ship hovered above Earth's largest cities. Scouts watched from orbit. They expected riots, madness, fire, mutation. But what they saw was worse. Nothing. No panic. No fighting. No sirens. Just streets. Clean shops. Open people. Tom. 2. Calm. "Scan the area," one commander whispered. Thermal scans showed heat signatures, thousands of them, but none were moving. No one walked. No one talked. They stood in place, facing the sky, smiling. The strange stillness. Alien boots touched Earth's soil for the first time in weeks. Squads landed across New York, Cairo, Shanghai. Rio. Same result. People were alive, breathing, but silent. Some stood on rooftops, others on sidewalks, parks, highways, all looking upward. No response to voices, no fear of weapons, no blinking one. Soldier got close to a young girl. She slowly turned her head and whispered, "It's almost here." Then looked back up. The underground murmurs. A team entered the catacombs. Strange sounds echoed from below. Not footsteps, not machines, but laughing. Soft at first, then layered. Many voices, all laughing at once. They found walls covered in symbols drawn in glowing water, spirals, circles, open eyes. In the center of the chamber stood a tall man, his face hidden in shadow. He whispered, We used to talk too much. Now we're listening. You should listen too. Then vanished into the dark. The tower broadcast, suddenly. Every screen across Earth and every alien-connected signal.
Turned on.
Static. Then a face. Daniel Reeve. Standing on top of a tower in a quiet city. Behind him, the skyline shimmered with strange light. His voice was calm. Came to see if we broke. We came to see if we begged. We did neither. He pointed upward. We listened. We adapted. We accepted what you feared. He held up a bottle of dark drop. You tried to end us, but the end is where we begin. Then he drank it, and behind him the sky twitched. Like something large moved inside the clouds. Alien reaction. Retreat or attack? In the alien flagship, panic grew. They're waiting for something. They're welcoming something. Do we fire? Do we leave? The insectoid admiral stared hard at Earth's surface. No screams, no fire. Just ... obedience. We're not seeing a planet. We're seeing a hive. The whisper in the fleet then, one by one. Alien soldiers aboard. The ships began hearing voices, not out loud, but inside. Gentle, calm, smiling. You drank what we bled. You traded your fear for hunger. Now you want silence too. Some fell to their knees. Others stared at Earth and began to laugh. As night fell on Earth, the cities stayed still. Humans stood in formation, unmoving, glowing slightly in the center of the silence. One child laughed, high-pitched, joyful, and from deep underground. Something laughed back. Not one voice, thousands, millions, like a choir of something old and growing. A final message appeared across alien ships. Earth has heard the call. We didn't fall, they answered. The great galactic embassy hovered in neutral orbit, a symbol of peace, of reason, of control. It had never failed to prevent war. Until today, Earth's top human representative, Daniel Reeve, entered the Grand Hall in silence, surrounded by towering aliens, armored guards, cameras streaming live across 1,000 worlds. He walked with no escort, no weapons, just a small, black flask in his hand. The delegates stared at it. They all knew what it was, Earth water. One ambassador stood and spoke. Let's settle this, human. Peacefully, Daniel smiled. Of course, then he unscrewed the cap and poured the black water onto the embassy floor. It didn't splash it. Crawled. The start of the meeting, the treaty was simple. Earth must stop producing and exporting dark drop. All infected colonies must be surrendered. Human mutation programs must be dismantled. Daniel listened, smiled, DIDN, single quotes. Then speak then. Finally he stood. You call it a poison. You fear it because it didn't start with you. He leaned in, tried to stop it. But you drank it too. One alien shouted, That's a lie. Daniel looked around. Tell me honestly, who here hasn't tasted it? Silence. One ambassador's hand trembled. Another looked away. Someone whispered it was only a sip, taught to understand them. Daniel chuckled. Too late. It's in your blood now. The melting walls, the embassy lights flickered. The walls dripped. Not water, not blood. Something in between. One alien shouted, Shut it down. Security bots stormed in, guns drawn. But the black liquid on the floor, it was like smoke. Not attacking, just watching. Then one ambassador vanished. No scream. No flash, just gone. Then another, and another. Panic. One screamed into a communicator, Evacuate now. But the doors wouldn't open. The air felt thick, wet, and the floor began to hum. The offer Daniel stood in the center, calm, untouched. He raised his hands. You thought we were begging for peace, but peace was never our offer. He looked at the camera. We only offer one thing now. He smiled wider than possible. Simulation. The chaos outside ships tried to dock. None could get close. The embassy's orbit turned. It's unstable, dragged by something invisible. Some said it was gravity, others said it was a mind. Inside, screams echoed, dozens of delegates missing, walls twisting into shapes, chairs growing eyes, air thick with whispering. But Daniel was still standing and laughing. The final broadcast seconds before total signal loss. One camera feed remained. It showed Daniel pouring the last drop of his flask onto the embassy's great seal. The water shimmered, then the seal melted. And a sentence appeared across every screen in the galaxy. Your diplomacy failed. Ours begins. Inside you, the Galactic Embassy cracked. Its metal tore like paper, and in complete silence, imploded into a black mist, vanishing from every radar. Gone. No debris. No survivors. Just one echo across the stars. Laughter. Laughter that came from every direction. And, deep in the void, the sound of something waking up. On the moon colony, Velos 3. The teachers noticed something strange. Every child had drawn the same symbol. A black spiral with eyes inside it. Hundreds of them. It's all smiling. One teacher laughed it off. Another wasn't so sure. She checked the security logs. No. Screens had shown the spiral. No books had it. No games, no internet feed, so how did all the children know? Why were they humming the same song? Low, slow hum, like the sound Earth's core used to make. Before it changed, the memory that wasn't taught across distant colonies, the same. Pattern appeared. Children as young as 3 could speak languages, were never taught. Some whispered in ancient Earth dialects, long dead. Some used no words at all, just signals drawn in the air. One boy, mute since birth, suddenly whispered, "The water remembers us. Now we remember it." Doctors tried tests, scans, brain maps. But the children only laughed. "You're too old to hear it," one girl said. "It talks soft. You only hear if you stop lying to yourself." The dream fire, then came the dream. Fire. All the children across dozens of worlds had the same dream on the same night. They saw a sky split in half, black rivers rising into the air, and a massive figure made of smoke and bone whispering, "You belong to more than stars." When the children woke up, they weren't afraid. They were smiling. Some cried, not in fear, but in joy. They weren't dreaming of destruction. They were dreaming of home, Earth's whispered teachings alien. Leaders tried to contain the phenomenon, shut down all human transmissions, block Earth signals. But it didn't help, because the dreams weren't coming from Earth anymore. They were coming from the children in one classroom. A young boy drew a map. It wasn't any known system, but when scanned, it matched gravitational anomalies deep in galactic space. "What is this?" the teacher asked. The boy replied, "The place before stars. That's where we're going." The oldest child speaks on a remote station, a teenager named Kara. Reeve, Daniel Reeve's daughter, was kept under guard. She hadn't spoken in years, but now she began to write page after page, symbols, songs, predictions. One day, she stood in front of her cell door. The guards watched. She spoke. "My father was the first voice, but I am the echo. Earth didn't raise us. It woke us. We are not human anymore," she smiled. "We are what comes next." And then, without touching the door, it opened. Alien fear reaches its peak. The Galactic Union has declared a level red emergency. But it was too late. The children were changing not. In body, in mind, their thoughts were synchronized across light years. They finished each other's sentences. They drew patterns in perfect unison. They stopped obeying, and they started leading. Whole planetary systems turned their eyes to these silent leaders, not with fear, but with trust. Because deep down, the adults knew. The children remembered. Something true, something that couldn't be stopped. A fleet commander looks at a screen showing 1,000 children across 80 worlds, all staring into the camera at the same time. One child speaks in every language at once. "You broke the galaxy trying to control it. We're not here to fix it. We're here to replace it. Then every screen went black, and in the silence came the whisper of billions of young minds, breathing in sync. We remember the first drink, and we are the last. Across the galaxy, sensors screamed. Tectonic activity on Earth had stopped. All of it. No quakes. No volcanic pressure. No movement inside the planet. It was as if Earth had paused, sat still, watched, waiting aboard the alien flagship Veritas Prime. A Zellery scientist whispered. A planet cannot hold still like that. Unless... She didn't finish the sentence, because Earth's poles began to glow, not with fire, with something older than light, something from before physics had rules. The cracks in space wormholes began opening, but not in space. In time, the stars above. Earth blinked, and then bent observers watched. Satellites dissolve, not explode, dissolve like sugar in boiling water, then reappear. Years younger, one alien commander shouted. It's folding reality. And from the cracks, voices spilled out, thousands of them. Some spoke in ancient tongues, others whispered in new ones. Languages not even the AI translators could process. They said, we are not a species. We are a seed, and we have rooted. Leaves the ground for a moment. Gravity reversed. The oceans didn't fall upward, they climbed, like they had somewhere to go. Mountains uncoiled like spines. Forests pulsed. Cities reshaped into symbols. Then the unimaginable happened. Earth moved, not rotated, moved, shifted gently through space. Like a giant standing up after resting too long. Across the Union, leaders screamed, hold it down! Anchor it! Stop it before it leaves orbit. But Earth didn't care. It had never cared. And now, it didn't need to pretend. The return of the forgotten old human colonies, long dead. Thought destroyed, suddenly sent signals. Clear, strong, unified. One. Message, we were never lost. We were planted. On the ruins of fallen human outposts, new cities rose overnight, from black soil, from broken stone, from memory. Aliens tried to investigate, but the ground swallowed their ships, not with violence, with hunger. Because Earth wasn't just rising, it was reclaiming. Daniel Reeves' voice returns across every dead screen. One face appeared again. Daniel Reeve, standing on Earth's tallest peak, which now floated above the clouds. He looked older, taller, his eyes not human anymore. He spoke softly. Oh, you poisoned what we drank. You mocked what we became. Now you beg to forget us? He held up a globe. It wasn't Earth. Not anymore. It pulsed like a heart. But Earth remembers everything, and now he placed the globe in the air, and it hovered, glowing brighter. Earth walks. Alien panic turns to collapse. Galactic fleets began retreating. Some fired at Earth. The beams never landed. They turned in space and hit their own ships. One planet, Dralis 9, simply vanished when its war satellites locked onto Earth's surface. No. Explosion, no warning, just a whisper, we remember your vote. From every corner of the galaxy, beings looked toward Earth and saw it rising through its own orbit, not flying, climbing, like a creature stretching after a long slumber beneath its crust. Massive shapes moved like bones made of light. In the silence, a final broadcast rang out from Earth. You feared the drink. You feared the silence. Now fear what comes after, because we are no longer drinking. We are becoming the source. There was silence in the stars. No battles, no broadcasts, no more lies. Just a cold, echoing WATCHFUL. Nausif loaded, alone, massive, glowing, alive. No longer a planet, no longer still. It pulsed like a living god, breathing dark light. Into space, alien fleets remained far beyond its reach, terrified to come close. Leaders argued, should we speak again? Send peace? Offer surrender? But Earth didn't reply, because Earth was preparing a drink. One last drink. For the whole galaxy, the final glass forms above Earth's surface. A shape formed in orbit. It looked like a chalice miles wide. Made. A folded time and memory. The last glass dot inside it swirled a dark liquid heavier than gravity, colder than light. Across hundreds of systems, beings watched it fill drop by drop. Every drop carried a memory. A war. Scream. A betrayal. The drink held everything Earth endured. One drop came from the first invasion. Another from the poisoned oceans. Another from the moment humans laughed as they drank death. The return of the vanished suddenly. Those who had disappeared. Diplomats, soldiers, entire cities began to return, but changed. Their eyes were black pools. Their skin shimmered like water. Their voices spoke in chords, not words. They did not beg, did not threaten. They only said, "We were the first to drink fully. Now we pour." With a soft motion, they raised the last glass toward the stars. The offer one final message was sent across the galaxy from Earth. From the children, from the dark water itself, it spoke in every language, even ones not yet born. This is your last choice. Drink and change, or remain and vanish. Some species fell to their knees. Some screamed in fear. Others stepped forward. One alien queen whispered, perhaps becoming something new, is better than dying afraid. She took one step toward the edge of space, and the last glass poured. The flood. It wasn't water. It wasn't liquid. It wasn't fire. It wasn't death. It was truth. Pure. Unbearable, beautiful truth. It poured through suns, through minds, through every lie ever told. And when it touched a world, that world didn't burn. It changed people. Stopped shouting. Stopped running. They remembered who they used to be. Before fear, before control, before war, and those who couldn't face that truth, they simply vanished softly. Like waking from a dream they were never meant to see. The last words of Daniel Reeve. Daniel stood atop the Tower of Memory now. Floating in space, he looked out across a galaxy reborn. He didn't smile. He didn't speak with anger. Only peace. You called us monsters because we smiled while suffering, because we drank what you feared. But monsters don't. Remember, we did. He raised a final glass. Here's to the last lie. And he drank. The stars blinked, not out. Open like eyes finally waking up. Earth stopped pulsing. Its job was done. It no longer needed to rise, because the galaxy had joined it. Billions of beings once broken now stood in silence, not conquered, not destroyed, transformed, and in the endless night, the stars whispered one final truth. They poisoned Earth's drink. But humans drank it all and became something else. Now we all have tasted it, and we all remember.